So, I've had a bugbear hanging off my shoulder for a while now, and I finally want to talk about it. The way that some people react online to dissenting opinions bothers the hell out of me, and let me tell you what I mean. One of my favorite videos on YouTube is HBomberGuy's Fallout 3 is garbage and here's why. It's an hour-and-a-half long analysis of Fallout 3, analyzing not only the story and gameplay, but comparing it both to other Fallout games and other RPGs, and using that as a lens to show people why he doesn't like the game. It's an extremely well-made video, and honestly, the thought of making a scripted movie-length analysis terrifies me, so even if I disagreed with him, I would respect it just for the amount of effort I know he must have put in. But as I said, it's one of my favorite videos, and that's why it pisses me off to see this. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of those people who click the dislike button do you think actually watched a significant portion of the video? Personally, I'm willing to put money down on maybe 1% of those 23,000 people having watched more than 5 minutes, because the actual content of the video is virtually irrelevant. Most of those dislikes came from people who saw the title, watched the first 10 seconds, confirmed that his opinion did not line up with theirs, disliked, and then left. Now, you might say that claim is unfounded, but I have proof. About a year ago now, I made a video called The Top 5 Worst Things in Undertale. Now, Undertale is, of course, my all-time favorite game, so it might not make sense that I would make a video like that, but there were 3 reasons that I did. First of all, I thought it would be a fun intellectual exercise, trying to find bad things in a game that I loved so dearly. Second, because I wanted to show people that it's still possible to love something while also being able to admit that it's not perfect, which is a concept that a lot of people have difficulty accepting. But the final reason that I made it is because I wanted to test something. Allow me to show you the first 20 seconds of that video. Undertale. By far the single worst thing ever. That's right, worse than Hitler-branded Brussels sprouts. Undertale, more like Underfail. Sorry about that. Now, I go on to explain that the opening was a joke and not representative of my actual opinion. And the reason that I did that? I wanted to find out who would see the title, click on the video, watch maybe 5 or 10 seconds, dislike, and then leave. And the results? Almost a perfect 50-50 split, and it's the most disliked video I've ever made. And why? Quality-wise, it's not any worse than any other video I've made. In fact, I spent quite a bit of time on that one. But the answer becomes clear when you read the comments. Screw you, how could you hate Undertale? Undertale is awesome, not a fail. You suck, Undertale rocks. This YouTuber is a hater to Undertale. Fuck this guy, he hates Undertale and Undertale is good. Boo, how dare you say Underfail, you son of a bitch. And this one's my favorite. You suck for calling Undertale bad, which he then immediately followed up with, okay, you made up for it by saying it's great. So I think this pretty handily proves that people do exactly what I thought. See the title, dislike, and then leave. Had any of these idiots made it more than 15 seconds into that video, they'd have realized I wasn't being serious. But no. People who use the dislike button that way don't actually care what you have to say or the reasoning behind your opinions. They'll judge you based on your title and the first few seconds of the video, and that alone. And if your opinion doesn't line up with theirs, dislike. Now, of course, the fact that Undertale is my favorite game makes this all really funny. But what if I actually did think that? What if I actually did hate Undertale, and the video was spent explaining why? Would I suddenly deserve all those dislikes? Would my opinion be less valid than it is right now? As I said, my hypothetical reasons for hating Undertale are completely irrelevant, because no one disliking the video would have stuck around long enough to hear them anyway. And I just don't get it. I mean, I do get it. Some people get angry when another person disagrees with them, and the more strongly held that belief, the more of a backlash you'll generate. But I just don't get feeling that way. Like, if someone came up to me and said, hey, Undertale, Portal 2, and Sora no Tashimono, they all suck. I hate them. My reaction wouldn't be anger, it would be interest. Well, I gotta know now, right? In that moment, there is nothing in the world that would be more interesting to me than why he thinks that. I mean, I love those things so dearly, and what could compel a person to dislike them that much? And I think that's a far healthier attitude to take towards dissenting opinions, because it actually promotes in-depth discussion and understanding. Whereas, if I had responded to him by going, yeah? Well, fuck you, asshole! Well, then where are we? Both of us are angry, and we've accomplished nothing. I mean, what's the worst that could happen if I just listened to him argue his point? He'll change my mind and make me agree with him? That'd be amazing! If you have an argument that could convince me to hate something I previously loved, I really want to know what that argument is. But I think that maybe some people are actually afraid of that happening. Afraid that they'll agree with other people if they just listen to them. Like, they have a comfortable bubble that they're living in, and anything that stands to pop that bubble is something they don't want to acknowledge. And so as soon as people know that the general attitude of a given video will be straying from what they already agree with, that's when the dislikes start rolling in. And now this brings us to a question. Isn't that the point? A person watches a video, and if they disliked it, they click the dislike button, right? Seems like the conversation should end there. And yeah, in an ideal world, people would click the dislike button if they disliked the video, but that's not how it works. As I said earlier, most people who downvote something don't even bother watching it, and I think that's what really pisses me off more than anything else. Like, if you watch a significant portion of my video, and you didn't like it and you click the dislike button, you know what? Fair enough. It's the people that don't even bother to give me that courtesy that really piss me off. Just understand that by clicking the dislike button, you're basically telling people, this video isn't worth your time. And when I spend 20 to 30 hours working on a video, only for it to get a massive amount of people downvoting it and essentially saying, don't bother watching this, it sucks, and not because of the content of the video, but just because I have an opinion that disagreed with theirs, that's what really gets my goat. Those are the people I just want to throw down a well filled with angry mice. And here's the thing. Those people are in a tiny minority. That Undertale video, which I'll remind you is the most disliked video I've ever made by a country mile, has about 500,000 views and about 12,000 dislikes. That means that only 1 in 41 people click the downvote button. But the problem is that even that can majorly influence the average opinion of something. Unless I go out of my way to ask for likes on a given video, which in itself has a major backlash culture tied to it, the amount of likes I'll receive is also a tiny minority of the overall viewership. So in a system like that, you would hopefully end up with a result that averages out to what most people's opinion will be, despite the small sample size. But people who don't like things tend to look for every possible way to spread that opinion, and are 10,000 times more likely to downvote than people who like the video are to upvote, which ends up skewing the result. And the bigger the downvote bar gets, the more likely the average person is to click off before watching. And honestly, the dislike button on any website is a generally shitty design idea, and I vastly prefer Facebook and Twitter's system of, you can like this post if you want, or you can move on to something else. Because the only purpose a downvote button really serves is to stop discussion. Let me tell you what I mean. The thing that really made me want to make this video is a post that I saw on Reddit the other day. It was an article about the faults of the Nintendo Switch, but this was a text post written on Forbes. Unlike my video on the subject, which was done live, the author did take the time to sit down and calmly and rationally write out their concerns, and it's a fantastic article. But because the title was, Why I'm Worried the Nintendo Switch is Just Another Wii U, and it was posted to r/Nintendo, the post, at time of speaking, has a grand total of 7 upvotes, and that's with 71 people having voted on it. The article prompted a discussion that should be had, but it got buried with downvotes because a large mass of fanboys didn't want to hear it, and so virtually no one saw it. And this is a very dangerous type of attitude to be fostering, because you're essentially turning the world into your echo chamber. I mean, think about it. If the press decides that anything they create that expresses a non-consensus opinion will get no clicks or views or whatever, then they won't bother making them. There's a reason I didn't spend a week scripting and editing that Nintendo conference video, even though I kinda wanted to. I knew that no matter how eloquent I was, or how well I conveyed my opinion, it would just get lost in an avalanche of downvotes and therefore was not worth my time, which, by the way, is exactly what happened to this guy from Forbes who actually did go through all of that. Just this attitude of anything that I disagree with is bad and must be silenced makes me hesitate to ever pour a significant amount of effort into any video that has any kind of dissenting opinion whatsoever. So, honestly, if I was king of the world, I would just make websites like YouTube, Reddit, etc. remove the downvote button altogether. In my utopia, there's now just a like button, and if you don't like the video, you move on to the next one or leave a comment explaining why. That at least promotes discussion and doesn't just get rid of people who don't agree with you. But unfortunately, I am not king of the world, yet anyways, and the dislike buttons are here to stay. So I guess I'll have to settle for this. I want to ask you guys to seriously think it through the next time you're about to click the downvote button. Realize that what you're essentially doing is broadcasting to others that this thing is a complete waste of time and shouldn't be seen by anyone. And you should maybe reconsider doing that if the biggest crime that I've committed is that I didn't agree with you. Special thanks to Isaiah Christo, Sawsbucky, Killy, Forgotten Paladin, Ludwig, Mageline, and an account I made to donate to myself to pretend that I have more fans for helping support my videos.